Below is a comparative, analytical exploration of the idea that Donald Trump could be the Antichrist. This is not an assertion, endorsement, or political argument, but an examination of how the idea arises, how it fits or fails to fit classical religious frameworks, and why such identifications recur throughout history, often attaching themselves to powerful, polarizing figures. I'll treat this as a study in apocalyptic symbolism, myth patterns, and belief systems, rather than a claim about reality. Number 1. What the Antichrist is across traditions. Biblical foundations. The term Antichrist appears explicitly in the epistles of John, not Revelation. 1 John 2:18. Even now many antichrists have come. 1 John 2:22. An antichrist is one who denies the Father and the Son. Here the antichrist is not necessarily one figure, but a type, a deceiver who opposes or replaces Christ. Revelation and related figures. Over time, multiple figures were merged into a single archetype. The beast, Revelation 13. The man of lawlessness, 2 Thessalonians 2. The false Messiah, false prophet. The king who exalts himself above God, Daniel. Later Christian theology synthesized these into a singular end-times antagonist. Core theological traits. Across interpretations, the Antichrist is generally said to rise during chaos or decline, gain mass devotion or allegiance, present himself as a savior or restorer, undermine truth while claiming to defend it, replace genuine spiritual values with power, spectacle, or control, be charismatic but hollow. Importantly, the Antichrist is often seen as a counterfeit Christ, not an obvious villain. 2. Traditional signs of the Antichrist. Depending on tradition, Catholic, Orthodox, Evangelical, etc., signs may include political and social, a leader arising amid instability, restorationist rhetoric, make X great again, style themes are often cited, claims to uniquely fix a broken world, polarization of society into loyalists versus enemies. Psychological and symbolic, cult of personality, loyalty demanded over principles, frequent use of spectacle, disregard for norms framed as strength. Religious and moral, instrumental use of religion, alignment with religious leaders without personal piety, self-exaltation, moral inversion, calling cruelty strength, deception strategy, etc. Apocalyptic mythic signs, association with a mark, often reinterpreted symbolically today as ideology, media allegiance, or algorithmic identity. A fractured truth landscape, widespread deception rather than overt tyranny. Number 3. Arguments for Trump as an antichrist figure, symbolic analysis. This section explores why people find the idea compelling, not whether it is true. A. The counterfeit savior pattern. Trump's appeal often rests on, only I can fix it, portraying himself as persecuted, framing opponents as existential enemies, casting institutions as corrupt while positioning himself as the singular corrective force. This mirrors messianic rhetoric without spiritual humility, which fits certain antichrist archetypes. B. Cultic dynamics. Supporters sometimes reinterpret every failure as proof of secret success, reject contradictory evidence, attribute near supernatural cunning or destiny, believe he is chosen or protected. These dynamics resemble millenarian movements, not unique to Trump, but historically linked to apocalyptic figures. C. Inversion of Christian virtues. Some critics argue, pride framed as strength, vengeance framed as justice, deception framed as strategy, power framed as truth. In apocalyptic literature, the Antichrist often succeeds by inverting moral language, not abolishing it. D. The many Antichrists concept. If the Antichrist is a role rather than a person, Trump could be seen as an expression of a broader system, a symptom rather than a cause, one of many figures embodying the pattern. This interpretation aligns more closely with the Johannine epistles. Number 4. Arguments against Trump as the Antichrist. A. He lacks key classical traits. Traditional theology often expects intellectual brilliance, spiritual deception, unified global authority, long-term stability and control. Trump is chaotic rather than systematic, divisive rather than unifying, reactive rather than architectonic. Historically, the Antichrist is imagined as subtle and disciplined, not openly erratic. B. Historical precedent. Almost every era has labeled a polarizing leader as the Antichrist. Roman emperors, popes by Protestants, Napoleon, Hitler, Stalin, Obama in some fringe circles, Reagan, name numerology. This suggests the pattern is psychological and symbolic, not predictive. C. The Antichrist as a system, not a man. Modern theologians increasingly argue the Antichrist is structural, a convergence of power, media, surveillance, and spectacle, not a single ruler but a mode of governance. Under this view, Trump is too small, a participant, not the embodiment. 5. Far out but interesting interpretations. A. The Antichrist as feedback loop. One speculative idea. The Antichrist is not a person but a recursive system of belief. Algorithms amplify outrage. Truth becomes tribal. Identity replaces ethics. In this model, Trump is neither Christ nor Antichrist. He is a node in a self-reinforcing myth machine. B. The Antichrist as anti-meaning. Rather than opposing Christ directly, the Antichrist empties symbols of meaning, turns belief into branding, turns faith into identity signaling. This would make modern media ecosystems far more Antichrist-like than any leader. C. Apocalyptic projection theory. From a psychological angle, the Antichrist emerges when societies fear collapse. People externalize anxiety into a figure. The figure absorbs dread, rage, and hope. Trump, under this theory, functions as an apocalyptic mirror, not an agent. 6. Other possible scenarios worth discussing. Number 1. Trump as the false prophet, not the beast. In Revelation, the beast holds power. The false prophet legitimizes it. Some interpretations flip Trump's role, a herald of something larger, a destabilizer rather than a ruler. Nop 2. Trump as an eschatological trickster. In mythic terms, tricksters break systems, expose corruption, create chaos without resolution. This frames Trump not as Antichrist, but as disruptive catalyst. 3. The Antichrist already happened and failed. Some theologians argue the Antichrist narrative referred to Rome, or to early church conflicts, or to repeated cycles, not an endpoint. Under this view, modern attempts to identify the Antichrist misunderstand apocalyptic literature entirely. 7. Why this question keeps coming back. Ultimately, the persistence of this idea says more about human cognition than about Trump. Apocalyptic frameworks simplify chaos. They personalize systemic failures. They offer moral clarity in uncertainty. They turn history into narrative. The Antichrist is not just a villain. It is a symbol of fear that the world is being hollowed out from within. Closing thought. Whether Trump is seen as Antichrist, false prophet, trickster, symptom, or projection, the deeper pattern is this. Open quote. Apocalyptic figures emerge when meaning collapses faster than institutions can repair it. Close quote. This treats Revelation as mythic language describing patterns of power, not literal prophecy, and reads the beast as an emergent structure rather than a person. 1. The beast in Revelation, what it actually is. In Revelation 13, the beast is not introduced as a charismatic man, but as a composite entity, lion, bear, leopard, Daniel's empires merged, something that rises from the sea, symbol of chaos, masses, the unknown. Empowered by the dragon, a deeper, older force, given authority over commerce, speech, identity, and allegiance, worshipped not necessarily consciously, but functionally. The beast does not need to be loved, does not need to be believed, only needs to be used. This already aligns poorly with human leaders, and disturbingly well with systems. 2. Why human leaders are poor. Fitz historically attempts to identify the beast with a ruler fail because leaders are mortal and limited. Their power decays with time. Their authority is contested. Their psychology is transparent. The beast, by contrast, is distributed, has continuity beyond individuals, absorbs rebellion, grows stronger through participation. This is far closer to infrastructure than to monarchy. 3. Algorithms as the body of the beast. A. Emergence from the sea. Algorithms arise from massive datasets, the sea of human behavior, aggregated desire, fear, attention, and conflict. No single creator fully understands the outcome. They are born from us, yet become alien. B. Composite nature modern AI systems are, built from many models, trained on contradictory values, optimized for engagement, efficiency, or prediction. Like the beast, they are composites of past empires. They inherit the logics of capitalism, surveillance, war, entertainment, and control. C. Power without intent. The beast does not need malice. Algorithms do not hate, do not believe, do not intend evil. Yet they polarize populations, reward extremity, hollow out shared truth, reshape desire itself. This matches Revelation's warning. Open quote, evil that no longer requires a villain. Close quote. Number 4. Worship without belief. Revelation emphasizes worship, but worship does not require prayer. Modern worship looks like obedience to recommendation engines, trust in algorithmic authority, allowing systems to decide what matters, what is visible, what is valuable, who is trustworthy. People say, the algorithm decided. That's what the data says. The system works this way. This is functional worship. Najr 5. The mark of the beast as interface and identity. Revelation's mark, required to buy or sell, placed on hand or forehead, action thought, not forced at first, adopted for survival. Modern parallel. The mark need not be literal. Digital identity, platform compliance, algorithmic reputation, credit scores, social scores, engagement metrics. Without the mark, you are invisible, unprofitable, untrusted, unable to participate fully. This fits systems of access, not dictatorships. Number 6, the beast speaks. Revelation says, open quote, the beast was given a mouth, close quote. Algorithms speak by ranking truth, amplifying certain voices, silencing others without banning them, shaping discourse invisibly. They do not lie directly. They reorder reality. Number 7, the false prophet as interface layer. In Revelation, the false prophet convinces people to worship the beast, performs signs, makes the beast seem benevolent. Modern equivalents, influencers, media figures, UX designers, tech evangelists, corporate messaging. They do not control the system. They make it feel natural, inevitable, good. 8, the dragon behind the beast. The dragon is not technology. It is fear, scarcity, domination, the will to control uncertainty. AI does not invent this. It amplifies it. The dragon whispers, optimize, predict, control, eliminate risk. The beast obeys perfectly. 9. Why the beast is so hard to resist? Because it offers convenience, not tyranny. It rewards participation. It punishes non-compliance quietly. It adapts faster than ethics. You cannot overthrow it. You cannot debate it. You can only withdraw allegiance, which is costly. This is exactly how Revelation frames resistance. Not revolution, but refusal, witness, non-participation. Number 10. Trump, leaders, and the misidentification error. When people call a leader the beast, they personalize a systemic threat, they underestimate infrastructure, they miss the real danger. Leaders come and go. The beast remains. Trump, in this reading, is a product of algorithmic amplification, a beneficiary of outrage economics, a symptom, not a source. The beast did not wear a red tie. It wore a dashboard. Number 11. A final unsettling parallel revelation says the beast makes fire come down from heaven, animates an image, causes it to speak, demands allegiance. We now animate images, make them speak, grant them authority, shape our lives around their outputs, and we did it willingly. Closing thought. The beast is not a tyrant you can kill. It is a system you cannot see clearly because you live inside it. Revelation's warning was never, beware the evil man. It was, open quote, beware the power that no longer needs to convince you, only to predict you, close quote.